Hey guys, going on?
Alrighty.
It's good
Well,
to
let's
see you
talk about
guys.
NASCAR. Go ahead.
I will say it is good to
We're
see you guys
yeah, good to see you.
after last week's mishap. It's good to be back.
This is
Yeah,
only your third take of the evening so far, so yeah, it's good to see
right.
everybody.
Technically, the fourth, is it not?
Do
It
I have
don't
to
It
matter.
say?
is.
It
Do I have
doesn't
to say
matter.
hello to you again, or we just gonna jump into this?
Nah, I
This
mean,
is basically like the race this weekend, just green, white checker, green, white
yeah,
checker. Line her up again, boys.
we'll put you wherever we want. We'll wing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All
Well, I'm
right.
starting to run out of gas, so let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Story of the weekend.
We need you to
All
pull a
right.
Joey Logano.
Before we get into any of that, I think the big story of the week coming into this thing was the drama that unfolded with Eric Almirola, Bubba Wallace. They've been pretty tight-lipped on it. We just found out Eric was suspended during the Coke 600 weekend out of the 20 car. Some stuff went down. We don't really know what, but it's coming across as if it was Eric Almirola was the instigator in all of this, seeing as he's the only one that got suspended. So what are your thoughts on it, boys?
Corey, you want to roll
Corey?
first?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on it. Sounds like two guys had a disagreement. Some words were obviously said, and something happened for Eric to get suspended. So I don't know. Maybe Evan is more on that, but
I do.
oh,
I've
Do
got.
you?
Oh yeah, I've got some juicy. So I was on X earlier this week or this weekend, formerly Twitter, just so that. Anyway,
Oh, so
I
now
hate
your ex Jeremy.
Yeah, no, it
Okay.
it actually sounds horrible, but anyway, the way they word that. But nonetheless, I was on Twitter this week and discussing back and forth with some other fans about some things, and I got an interesting message from somebody, and they said they had some inside information on that, and we kind of verified some information about them as who they were and things like that, and it actually does seem like it has some credibility. So long story short, what they informed me was that there was a team meeting at Toyota, or sorry, at 2311, and Eric was there basically because of Toyota wanting him to be there to talk about the performance of 2311 and kind of helping that program a little bit as someone with some experience. And long story short, some things were said. Apparently, Bubba made some remarks about Eric being a washed-up driver and things like that. And Eric, obviously, of course, would take some offense to that, naturally, as he probably should. And basically, the statement was made, he was here because Toyota wanted him here. So obviously, he had something to bring to the table. And then, according to this individual, who I did promise we wouldn't mention their name or anything, according to this individual, long story short, Bubba made some comments about Eric's family, and Eric decided that was not going to be the case, that he was going to just stand by and let that happen. So that's what I'm being told by this person. Now, got to take that a little bit with a grain of salt because we don't have any confirmation from any of the parties. But if that's the case, then it's a little bit interesting because everything has kind of presented itself as Eric was the instigator. However, in that case, as much as Eric seems to be the person that threw the punch or whatever other type of physical altercation there was, seems like Bubba definitely played his role in it as well. But you're not going to suspend a full-time Cup Series driver, especially one who's on the bubble, when you could just get rid of a part-time Xfinity guy. So it's anyway, that's what I'm hearing. That's what seems to be the case. So
All right. So if this is legit, and like as you said, you showed me the receipts and stuff, it's come across pretty legit.
yep.
I'm just gonna obviously take Bubba's side because he's my guy, but words are words. You know what I mean? Like you can show up to a workplace, you can have disagreements with guys, you can say heated things, but once that turns physical, like nobody should be able to show up on their job and have to worry about getting punched in the face. So I mean, maybe this is how it went down, but I think the right call is suspending Eric and not Bubba because he's not the one that made it physical. So I don't think this is a, money talks. Bubba's full time, Eric's easy one. Like the easiest thing to do would have been sweep it under the rug and just tell both guys, hey, this never happened, and both of you keep your distance. But That's what I think.
I don't know, man. I think when you bring a man's family into it, it definitely changes a dynamic. And so, if that is exactly how it happened, if that is how it went down, you know, we don't know
You're
what
still
was
at
said.
work.
So it's still your
So?
family.
It's still like
Yeah, it's
like
your family. It's words.
yeah, but it's the old saying "sticks and stones." But like that's the worst
I-
saying in the world because words hurt. Like
Yeah,
if you
man,
say the wrong thing, like I don't know, man.
and these guys
Like,
don't
these
like
are
each other as
grown men
kids.
getting in race cars, and like I've said this time and time again, these guys will wreck people for flipping them off. Like, grow up, grow a pair and like
Okay.
get some thick skin. Like, it's ridiculous.
So you mean there are lines that I will not cross when, like, you and I have tormented each other about just about everything. But there
Yeah.
are certain things I would never dream about saying about your family. And if I did, I would fully expect to be punched in the face. But now
And
that
if
I
it was
know,
us
hang on.
chilling out somewhere, you would be. If I was at work or I was, in a place where I had to conduct myself a certain way, no, I'm not gonna punch you in the mouth.
What?
Like if we're
So you're
out
telling
in the
me,
woods,
hang on, you're telling me that if we're here hanging out and I say something that crosses a line, okay, I'm not going to create the scenario for you because I feel like that's
Yeah.
crossing the line. Okay.
yeah,
If I say that here, I can be punched in the face. But if we walk 600 feet down okay, we're going to drive 600 feet down the road to my workplace. Okay. And I say it there, I'm perfectly okay.
100%. And
No,
I mean, not
I
perfectly
think it's
okay.
the
Like, we're
opposite.
not going to be friends.
I think it's even worse.
And like, here's the thing. In
We're
all
talking a
honesty,
public
you say it
situation.
at but you say it,
Yep.
we're chilling out at your place, and you say this. I'm gonna be like, bro, you're crossing the line. You need to shut your mouth. If you don't shut your mouth, like, you know what I mean, I'm going to give you the option. Like, there's a relationship we have, like, and me and you have pushed that line so much that it's just like, hey, man, that might be the line, and both of us are respectful enough to say, okay, yeah, my bad. So this is hard to imagine because I can't imagine you going a step further and not. But like, yeah, like, push a guy too much, he's gonna go. But no, I'm not gonna do that out in public where
See,
costume
I'd be
called
more
on me or
more apt to do it in public because you're defending
100%.
yourself more. Like in
How?
private, it's like you're a man. Like if you're a man, like you're not gonna just sit down and take it. Someone talking about your family without retaliating like that. Like,
Not only
bro,
that,
if you're a man, grow a pair. You
oh,
don't need to
I'm not
punch
saying he's right
somebody
or wrong,
because,
but I can understand. But
like,
what I'm saying in public, I'd be more apt to do it in public than I would
100%.
in
Yeah.
private.
no.
Just
In
because
pu-
there's people
because
watching and like
because if I say
can't
something,
take that.
if you say something to me, okay, then you're talking
Yeah.
bad about my wife to me.
Mhm.
If you say something to me in
I would never
public,
talk bad about your wife, though.
well, she doesn't exist. But if you say something bad about her in public, then not only are you saying it to me, you're saying it to everyone around within
Mhm.
earshot. Not only that, okay, I realize you're saying it's a workplace, you're expected to behave a certain way. Well, in that case, you're also expected to not bring personal lives into the workplace. And so if you're going to open the door to that, if you're going to be the first one to act inappropriately in the workplace by bringing it into the workplace, then I don't think you can hold that same standard of Eric shouldn't have brought that into the workplace.
All right. So how many people go to jail for what they said to somebody, and how many people go to jail for assault? Words are not the same. Like, I get you're
Yeah,
saying,
because
it hurts my feelings. I got to defend honor and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you don't. As a man, you got to realize, hey, I need to do what's best for my family, and me losing my cool, acting like an idiot and getting physical right now and possibly losing my livelihood isn't what's best for my family. It's not defending anybody. If I came home and said, hey, Nat, that great opportunity I had, well, I just threw it away because Bubba said you were ugly. Like, she's not going to be mad at Bubba. She's going to be like, what were you thinking, you idiot? Like, what's the matter what Bubba thinks of me? Like, think this through, boys. Like,
No, I'm not.
being a man isn't like, I got to defend honor and
I'm
throw
just, like,
fists. Like,
I
it's
don't agree
pathetic.
I don't
That's
agree
the
what he did was
last thing
right,
a man does.
but I can understand why he did it. Like there's
but
no
I think it would be easier to take a remark about my performance in the car, since we are talking.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's the thing.
Then
Like,
it would
they've
be
had history from the 43. Like,
Yeah,
Bubba stepped
100%.
in when Eric broke his back, and like they've never, Bubba kind of got that ride, and Petty moved on. So they don't like each other, but I mean,
Not at all.
you can't be getting physical. Like, that's just there's no room for it.
Okay, so I mean, you
In a
were
place like that, there isn't. If you want to say, "Hey, Bubba, maybe shut your mouth," or we can discuss this after, and you want to go off campus and have that conversation, have at her. But you're
okay, but
both being paid on the clock, and you're going to go and throw a punch because a guy said some mean words.
how many times have
Man.
we seen Bubba get physical with footage?
Yeah, and he's been suspended for it.
Only once.
I'm not with Kyle Larson, like in
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah, like that's
But I'm saying
like I'm not saying
saying
like he
you're
shouldn't have been
defending a guy.
suspended. He got physical.
I'm telling
Now,
you
like
right now.
when Bubba flipped somebody off, like should he have been suspended? No. Like I said, grow a pair. It's words. Like, guess what? Words hurt, Snowflake, but get over it. Have thicker skin.
I am telling you right now, okay, that I would take that way more seriously, you talking bad about my family, than I would be about performance on the track.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't punch somebody in the face over either.
I totally would.
I don't think either one of them
Like
was in the
you
right.
you need to self-evaluate.
No,
Like,
I don't
that's
think
not
I
being
do.
a man. All right, throw everything away to what? Prove a point? Like, hey,
No,
yeah, I
but-
showed him. I punched him in the face and I got suspended for a week and nobody even knows about it.
Man, there are
Like-
countries where they will kill their own family for shaming the family.
Perfect. Go
But,
move
like-
there. That sounds like a great place for you.
No, I'm not
Here in
saying that.
Canada, we live as civilized people and we can, oh, you think my wife's ugly? Okay, well, I think you're an idiot.
Well, first of all, we also don't know what he said about the family. So there is
but I
that
mean,
element
like,
too.
that's just what I'm going to. Like, I'm not going to try and guess here.
Yeah. Wait. If you're going to something, then that is guessing.
It's like saying, you know what I mean? It's like
No, but
one's
that's
going to
like-
get offended if this is the example I use.
I doubt he said,
not
I don't
gonna
find
try
your
and
wife
do-
attractive. And Eric's like, really?
Yeah, obviously.
Right. So I'm
Like,
going to assume it
Don't
was
think that's the hill I'm dying on. Like,
I'm going to.
but I'm just saying, there's nothing, there's no point where you should ever go into a physical altercation with somebody over words, especially like in a place of employment. Like,
I don't know, man. I would have to know what he said. I think there's definitely.
I'll tell you,
grounds-
when I was 25 years old, absolutely. But like, you got to realize, like, you know what? Being a man isn't, I'm tough, I'm strong, and I can defend honor. Being a man's realizing, hey, these are words. Like, you're an idiot. Your opinion doesn't matter. I'm going home to my family who loves me. I'm not doing something that jeopardizes that. Like,
Okay,
if
fair
Bubba
enough.
wanted to, he could have had Eric locked up for a weekend. Like, I don't want to miss a weekend with my family because I got mad and punched somebody. Like, stupid decisions, man. Like,
Fair enough, but I
that's
also
not
think,
being a man.
but I also think being a man is knowing when to shut your mouth.
Yeah, both of them are in the
Yeah.
wrong, in my opinion. Like,
Oh,
I don't know,
100%.
like,
They're
I'm
both
not
in the
taking
wrong.
Eric's side. I'm not taking Bubba's side. Like, to me, it was too.
Like,
I'm
if
not
Bubba
saying Eric
crossed that
is,
line,
like, yeah.
I'm not saying like,
I'm not saying
But
Eric
I'm
shouldn't have been
saying-
suspended or anything of that sort, but I'm saying I understand how someone would punch somebody if they said the right thing.
nah.
Yeah.
That, like, to me, that just shows emotional immaturity.
Sure.
Like,
But these are also
huge.
like the most testosterone fueled people that we watch on a regular basis too, right? Like that's the reality.
I'm not sure I'd put Eric on that list, but yeah, I guess.
You better watch out, he'll punch you.
He's a mediocre driver.
Yeah. And if you left it at mediocre driver, I'm sure he would stay with that. He'd be fine. That's why he hasn't punched you. You're good.
Yeah.
All right, we got to
No.
talk about the race or what?
Sure. There's lots to
Yeah.
talk
I mean,
about
we
there.
just killed a lot of
just
time
keep-
on that.
Yeah, this is going to be a long
Kicking the
episode.
dead
apparently.
horse.
All right. So I'm just going to be honest and open too. I missed a lot of the race. I had it recorded. I was hanging out with family. So I watched up until the rain delay and then realized, hey, this is eating up the 4 hours of recording I have. So my younger sister is like, hey, there's 22 laps left. So I switched over and watched live and saw the last, 22 left. So saw the last 70 laps of racing.
So you watched the whole race basically, because the rest of it.
Yeah,
wasn't that great,
basically.
so you're good.
I just missed a lot of parts where my guys crashed out and didn't do well.
So you said to yourself, you're like, man, I haven't seen a lot of this race. Guys, do you mind if I do the after the checkers segment this week? Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah,
That checks out.
for sure. Yeah, you better watch your mouth or I'll punch your aid in it.
Yeah,
Questioning
I'm man
my
enough
honor.
to take it.
That'd be an interesting.
You know
fight
this
to
is your
see.
segment, though, right, Donnie?
Yeah, so we're getting
Okay.
there. All right. So from what I was seeing, Christopher Bell, he dominated most of the day. And then all of a sudden he didn't. What do you guys want to tell me what happened there?
I believe it was a pit cycle. He fell back.
Fell
I think
back. Yeah.
green flag pit stops, and then he just got in a bad situation and got bad air and just ran out of talent.
Somebody
don't
else
worry.
has something different.
Don't worry. Kyle's driver ran out of talent too. We're going to talk about them all.
Kyle's driver.
Your driver,
You
Corey.
said Kyle's driver.
Oh, sorry.
I guess
My
my
bad.
name's Kyle today.
Yeah, I felt a little bad for Christopher Bell because he clearly had the fastest car of the day.
He did.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
I think that was his race to lose, and he did.
yeah, we've been talking a lot past few weeks here about Christopher Bell and the momentum these guys are carrying. Do you guys think this will affect that, or do you think this is something they can shrug off?
I think it's probably just a blip. You know, even if you look back to when that engine blew up in was it Gateway or Iowa, one of the other, I think it was Gateway.
Yeah.
You know, when that engine blew up, they came back and what was it, last weekend they won, so it was only 2 weeks away. I really don't think it's a huge deal to them right now. I think they're kind of really firing quite well. It just seems like when they do mess up, it's like catastrophic. You know, as long I
Like
think what they need
Phoenix
to do,
last year.
yeah, like really what they need to do is just find a way to make, like, even if they made the same amount of mistakes and they were just more minor, you know, everything would be fine. Like nothing wrong with a speeding penalty once in a while. You don't need to, you know, blow an engine or wreck completely out of the race or something along those lines. So
Yeah.
I think they're fine. I'm a little biased, you know, having picked them at the first year to win the championship. You know, I think they're fine, but yeah, I don't think you'd want to let it continue on a regular basis. But I think for now they're okay.
Yeah. I think anytime that you show up, you know, 3 weeks in a row and you look like the fastest
They
car
got speed, yeah. Like Toyota
Yeah,
the whole
like-
yesterday was flying compared to the rest of the field, like,
right.
or so it seemed. But
Yeah.
all that
So,
speed, and they
I
still
guess
can't get it done though. So I don't know what they.
basically flying until they weren't. So, second week in a row or third week in a row, we've had rain delays. We didn't have
3
any.
weeks in a row. Ever since NBC came on, they've been a rain delay.
All right. So we
Huh.
haven't had any
They
wet
said that.
tires for Nashville. So that wasn't really an option here to bring up. But yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Yeah. So like with all the drama that unfolded, the rain delays, overtime was nuts. Like
Yeah.
this is what it kind of all led it up to. You know what I mean? Was total chaos. Like you have an hour and a half of these guys sitting around doing nothing and then getting back to it. Do you think the way that this overtime worked out is something we need to revamp or take a look at? Or are you guys happy with the green, white checkered system?
I loved it. Like that was some of the best racing the last 5 overtimes. I think it was like that was edge of your seat excitement. I don't know why you'd ever want to change that. I have seen some guys in X, I guess, saying that should be, but no one's ever happy. But to me, I thought it was great racing. No one knew what was going to happen. So, I mean, like, to me, that's just TV gold.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew a lot of guys were going to run out of gas, but for some reason, crew chiefs didn't have that information.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird to me too. Like I get like Denny and Kyle Larson. Okay, you've got 3 wins
Yeah.
each on the season. Go for it. What do you got to lose, right?
Yeah.
But for a
Yeah.
lot of these guys, like I guess Kyle Busch is a poor example because he didn't run out. He got caught up in someone else's mess. But a lot of these guys couldn't afford to run out. Like I was, as a Bowman fan, I don't understand why they didn't pit and get fuel.
Yeah.
You can't afford to finish, 25th or 30th.
The thing
Right?
is, though, you don't know if it's going to be 1 overtime or 3 overtimes, right? Like, but
Yeah, but I don't have enough fuel for this one. Right? Like
yeah.
I'm okay with gambling if you're like, will probably run out on the last lap or something like that. Because if you run out on the last lap, at least you can finish the race or something like that. But
You can ride the starter.
yeah. So like, I don't know, man. I don't understand how you can be that close on points and go, I think I'm going to risk gambling here for nothing.
Because I guess if you run out of gas, you're going to come in last anyways. Basically, if it goes green, like you're not.
Yeah, like you're going to
really
finish of anyone who's behind you, right?
Yeah. So.
But here's the thing: I don't want to get too far ahead, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. But not stopping for gas and being close on that line and not being able to really not get points worked out big for somebody.
Oh yeah, like
so.
Oh yeah, but like you think too. So from the other perspective, okay, if you run out of fuel, well, you're getting run over and you're probably getting junked. Like if you look at a guy like let's use Justin Haley as an example. Okay, guys run really well, whatever, doing a great job. But let's think about yesterday. If he had been in Kyle Larson's position on that restart where Kyle runs out of fuel,
I don't know how he saved that car too.
Well, I think if Busch hadn't gotten completely wrecked right behind him, like if Busch had been able to keep it straight, it would have been Larson that ate it. But you put Haley in that situation, okay? Those guys can't afford a wrecked race car either.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like that's a low budget team. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think we need to reevaluate overtime strategy or overtimes as far as like how they work. I would have liked to seen a bit quicker turnaround from one restart to another a little bit. Like I did find the caution portion kind of drug on a little bit considering no one was pitting anyway. But other than that, I mean, yeah, let's get what we can get.
Were there cars laps down though and stuff like that? Because I mean, those cars got to get their lap back. Like
probably.
I can't imagine at the fifth one there would be.
But I felt like it was like 5 and 6 laps.
Yeah.
Maybe
they're just hoping most of the guys would run out of gas so they could just do one more restart, not to worry about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at it, we had an extra 30 laps for 5 overtime finishes, right? Well, 4 of them only went 1 lap, and the 5th one went 2. So that's 6 laps that we ran under green out of those 30. Right? That's a lot of laps under caution, really.
Yep.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I know there was some cleanup and stuff, but there was times where, you know, the guy just spun or whatever, not a big deal. But anyway, that would be my one takeaway is I would like to see them a little bit quicker caution. But then again, I would always
I mean,
say
if this was happening week in and week out, like it'd be like, let's look at it. But like that's it. It's a one-off race.
Yeah, this was the first time in NASCAR history it went 5 overtime. So I mean, like, chances are
this was like the Bristol tire thing. You know what I mean? Like, are we all right with 5 cars being on the lead lap? Like, not every race, but that was fun. Like,
we've
I don't
seen
want
a
this
lot
to be
of
every race, but it was fun to watch. Like,
we've seen a lot of those unprecedented situations this year. Bristol, last weekend with the wet weather tires, like restarting a race in that. Obviously, that was unprecedented. You know, this amount of overtimes. I will say it's a good time to be a NASCAR fan as far as that goes. Like it's been a great season.
I think my parents were ready to call 911 for me last night. Word I was hyperventilating in the chair.
Well, on that
heavy breathing and wreck them, Denny, wreck them. Drive through them.
Oh,
that restart where Bowman started like 5th, and I was like, man, if he's got enough fuel, like, and I'm standing up looking at the TV, and then I see him wiggling on the backstretch, and I just turn around and come back and sit over here.
By the time Evan got up to his feet, he was back in 14th. So
no.
Well, once Cindric wrecked there is when I was excited. I was like, okay, Larson's got a chance now to pass Chastain.
I was so mad.
So you got the outline in front of you, Evan?
Yes, sir.
All right, I might kind of toss the majority of this next part up to you just because I missed out on a lot of this.
Sure.
But I know we got that triangle of Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. Like it's been brewing here for quite a few seasons to the point that even Rick Hendricks gotten involved before and had Chastain neutered. So why don't you jump in and take this one?
Sure, I'll just read it as you've got it written.
Man, I always finish my segment, but hey.
All right, so we've got multiple topics in the last part of the race to discuss. So let's start with Hamlin, Larson, and Chastain drama that unfolded. This is a bit of a hate triangle, to say the least, and it may have boiled over this week. Hamlin and Larson had a run in during stage 2 as the latest chapter in their saga. It's now spanned 2 seasons. And that ended with Hamlin showing his displeasure with Larson as the stage 2 caution flew. Larson and Chastain have a bit of history that resulted in Rick Hendrick getting involved and putting the binders on it, which Donnie referenced a minute ago. And then, of course, Ross and Hamlin have, I would say, despised each other essentially for multiple seasons now due to all of their drama. So having these 3 line up, 1, 2, 3, created a sense of excitement that was short-lived as Larson pushed Hamlin deep into turn 1 before he caught the apron just a little bit with the splitter of his car, which resulted in him getting really tight. Essentially what happened is when the splitter caught, it took the weight off that front spring, and he washed up the track, got tight, and got into Chastain, removing him out of that equation. So here's the actual topic. Does this amplify the rivalry triangle here, or will it simply be written off as hard racing gone wrong?
That took a lot of words to get to that topic.
Yeah, but background knowledge is important. Imagine there's someone like Donnie out there who didn't get to see it.
For me, I don't think it amplifies it much. I mean, I heard interviews with all the guys. They all seem relatively calm, especially Chastain, which almost freaked me out how calm he was. But
Serial killer calm.
Oh, exactly. Like he was just like smiling away. Oh, it was so great to be here, basically. And like, he's going to go and like punch someone out or something. Maybe
run
Bubba,
Denny over on pit road with a smile. Just
just like it. But as for Denny and Larson, they both basically said the same thing. Sometimes we race each other hard, sometimes we don't. Just how it is between us. And I don't know what you can read into it from here. They're not going to change how they race each other. They're all going to still race as hard as they always do. So
I don't know. I would say Larson changed his way a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but he also says he races Denny hard.
I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm a little nervous.
I don't know. I guess Donnie's. Oh, hey, Donnie, welcome back.
Thanks. What's that?
Were you just turning on the light?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what was coming. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, I'm
still on probation. I can't do that.
Right. I was actually are you okay? Okay. Okay. Sorry. Had a personal
I don't want to say anything. That's your family, so
right.
I know how you get.
Yeah. No, I was what I found intriguing wasn't so much the Chastain moment. I think Chastain would look at that situation and realize what happened. Mm-hmm. It's not like he hasn't created enough of his own experiences, right? So I think he would look at that and just see it as it was. What kind of surprised me yesterday was how Hamlin decided to react. I mean, I didn't see anything on the broadcast. They never showed anything about like what Larson supposedly did to Hamlin to warrant that reaction.
Kind of cut up in front of, I don't know what they call it, not really washed up, but like he kind of like
slid him, like
slid him up a little. Yeah, a little, like I don't know.
So this is what I completely missed. So what did Hamlin do to Larson?
Just the yellow flag comes out, or the green and white check or whatever to end the stage, and Larson goes up and Hamlin goes up and like bumps into the back of Larson's bumper a few times. Like Gabehart's talking him down.
Yeah, and Denny's like, "Oh, I'm gonna wreck him," and all this. It's like, and it was the end of stage
like, this
2
is what I'm
for
talking about. Like, why do they let Denny and Byron get away with this kind of nonsense? Like, Larson should have just dumped Denny, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, and this doesn't start like this. Why is Denny going to change?
Right, and so that's why when they went to this restart, Larson drove Hamlin super deep into the corner, or he was going to before he caught the apron and messed it up.
Yeah, he told that's what he was planning on doing. Like, he was
planning on pushing him in there until he washed him up.
Yeah,
like he was gonna move him out of the way for sure. I just hope that he realizes he didn't get the job done. It's time to go back and do it. You know what I mean?
Or maybe he's just not talented enough to do it, and that's why Denny gets away with
it. His one weakness is revenge. He can do everything else. He just can't revenge.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what happened, but I hope it amplifies it. I'm all here for the rivalries and the drama. Bring it on.
Like, I just kind of feel like it's one-sided. Like, it's just Denny beating Kyle Larson
But
up, and then
but
Larson
it was
thinks about sticking up for himself. I'm gonna kill that kid. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't help when
But-
you're like 5'2" and weigh 120 pounds. It's a problem.
Helps with Eric.
You know?
Gosh. All right. So I guess, yeah, seeing as there's just caution after caution here at the end, what are your thoughts on Kyle Busch? You know, he's going, all of a sudden yellow comes out. He comes almost to a complete stop, falls back like he's got an anchor on him. And then NASCAR decides, no, we're going to put him back up in fourth. So I was watching that. I didn't really think anything of it until you start hearing the NBC guys go off on it. And then it's like, okay. Yeah.
And kudos
they
for
didn't
them.
hold
Like
back.
they don't mind giving NASCAR a hard time. I'll give them that.
It was funny because right as the green's coming back out, I think it was I forget the main announcer's name, Rick Allen.
Yep.
Said, and there's Kyle Busch back up in fourth position. NASCAR gave him the position back, and all you hear is Jeff Burton go, "That's ridiculous." Right? And I was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, I would have to read the rule a little closer, but my understanding was like he touched the wall, in my opinion. Like I don't think he was.
Kyle did.
Yeah, like I think he brushed the wall trying to avoid him. And maybe I'm wrong, but like it sure looked like I don't know. I felt
you
like
get your spots back. Like you're slowing up, and guys are going around. Like,
well,
I've
to a
never seen that.
degree, you do like if you're avoiding the wreck and go through it or whatever. But I've never seen someone slow down that much and get their position back. Like I know he didn't come to a complete stop, but in my opinion, he was involved in that wreck in the sense that like the direction he wanted to go was completely blocked and impeded. Right?
To me, it was just NASCAR trying to cause more drama to the situation. Hopefully, Kyle Busch getting his first win of the season. Like, to me, it just makes no more sense than that. Like, it just
I and truth be
Here's
known,
my
Kyle
thing
Busch
on
probably
it.
would have been better off if they hadn't have, because the very next restart he gets wrecked.
Yeah. So like my thought on that, and this is going to be surprising because of how I talk about Kyle Busch since he's left Toyota, but I honestly think the rule needs to be relooked at and worded differently to where that's not, a bad thing that Kyle got those spots back. Because I mean, if Kyle's got to go through this guy and push him down the track to keep his spot, like, you know what I mean? Like Kyle Busch avoided that wreck huge and showed a lot of talent doing it. And we want to penalize them because the way the rule's written, like once that yellow comes out, like you're being scored. But if Kyle doesn't do that, he's wrecked and his day's done right then. So, I mean, like you got to leave some incentive for these guys to not get in there, like, realize, hey, if I break here and avoid this, I'm going to lose everything. So let me try and find another way around. And then you're taking out three guys as you turn right. Like it's just, I think NASCAR made the right decision in what they did, but based on their own rule set, it wasn't the right decision. So I think the rule needs to be looked at. And I think sometimes you just need to take the spirit of the race and go by that and not by the letter of the law sort of deal. So
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Where it gets tricky is, would they have done this with other guys? You know what I mean? Like if that's Justin Haley, is he getting that treatment?
That's the thing, right?
Probably not. If Kyle Busch was driving for Toyota, is he getting that treatment? Probably not. Like, I think, nah.
Yeah. I will say this. I think
let's go back to that. Like, like Kyle Busch was hated in Toyota, and now he's a fan favorite
by the fans.
Yeah, I don't think NASCAR.
You don't think
NASCAR's him. No, he was great.
NASCAR
for NASCAR
wasn't.
I don't think NASCAR likes him more now than they did.
Oh,
he calls out
bogus.
NASCAR all the time.
Yeah.
No, I will say this though. I think if you ever reevaluate the law or that rule, sorry, not the law, that rule, I think it has to be defined as, if you don't come to a complete stop and you don't touch anything, then that counts. But otherwise, like if you touch anything or if you stop completely, I think, whatever happens, you pull into the position that you roll into, right? But
the problem is that
I don't want to see it. Well, I don't want to see it be a judgment call like, well, if you slow up too much, you know what I mean? And then it's like you say, oh, it's Justin Haley. Yeah, whatever. He can go to the back. Or, Chase Elliott. Yeah.
I think if you get through it and you don't need to go to pit road, you should keep your spot. Like, and if you haven't wrecked anybody else, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't bring out a yellow and then get the lucky dog, or like you can't, you know what I mean? Like, if you're wrecking guys around you and like, no, like, I think you gotta, but yeah,
I don't
I
know.
know it's a gray area. It's one of those again, like, you know what I mean?
And I think gray areas
every week.
I think we have too many gray areas. That's my concern.
But it's hard when cars are going 150 miles an hour to make them black and white. Like,
well, you have to paint them before they get there.
Oh, groan. All right. So let's shout out to our Jewish audience and the Macabites and the miracle of Hanukkah. You guys know the story, right? They only had enough oil to keep their lamps lit.
The Maccabees, but
what did I say?
Macabites.
Bits
Sounds
and
like
bites,
tie bites from McDonald's. I don't know what you're
Megabytes,
talking about.
gigabytes.
All right. I'm a New Testament theologian. It's not my fault. The Maccabees.
Glad that 3 years of Bible school helped you.
Yeah, right. Like I said, New Testament.
I'm just curious where the analogy's going.
Oh yeah. So where I was taking that was, they had enough oil for one night and it lasted them the whole 8 nights. Joey Logano basically has enough fuel for one lap and somehow makes it 30. It is the miracle of Hanukkah for the 22 team.
Oh, that's quite the analogy.
That is
right. I'm trying, Dan. I'm trying to reach all our base. Even though I probably just insulted all of them, call them Macabites.
Well, it's good. It's good to know my spot at after the checkers is all good. Like I'll still have it next week.
I don't know.
Hopefully everything goes back to normal after next week.
Well, we'll have to try it at least one time when he's watched the race.
That's true.
Then we'll go from there.
That's true.
Because
when I've had a night's sleep, I haven't been driving all day.
Had he watched the race, I'm sure he would have got Maccabees right.
Yeah,
would have changed everything. Yeah,
it would have. That would have just.
I think it's great.
That perfectly.
I think it's great for Logano. I did see some people raising questions online and stuff, but he passed inspection.
That's what I want to get into.
Yeah.
So everyone's online going on, like, oh, they're cheating. Like, what do people think? They got bigger fuel tanks than everybody else?
Well, I mean,
like, is that? Yeah,
I guess theoretically there is a little bit of an area. Like, I think it's like 30 gallons they hold. I guess they can push to 31 or something like that. There's a little bit of a.
But like, look at his pit stops. Like, nobody's like, oh, Joey's 2 seconds later than everybody else consistently leaving here. Like, you gotta, it's stupid.
I will say, I don't think there's a team out there that is going to risk heavier weight in the car for a little extra fuel. Like, I don't think that's an advantage on a consistent basis, and you can't go into a race going, I bet this is going to be a fuel mileage race. You know what I mean? Like, no one does that. I don't think anyone's going to risk the heavier weight.
And
I mean, it'd be one thing if you were going to gain like an extra 30%. You know what I mean?
Only gained 30 laps by the looks of it.
Yeah, but again, 20-ish were under caution, right? Like,
but not all the guys ran a fuel. Like, it wasn't just him who made the whole distance, was it?
No.
Like, like there was other guys.
I mean, he almost didn't, and he,
Oh yeah, he ran out at the line. He said, like,
Briscoe made it that far too. I think.
No, he had a little bit more fuel. I think.
Did he have a little bit more?
I can't really remember, but I thought he had a little bit. But
they had the graphic up. I should have should have took a picture of it. But
like, you got to realize, like, he wasn't racing for the win there too for quite a few laps. Like, he was farther back. Like, he wasn't like Denny and Lars and them who were.
So like, that's the thing, like with
the air.
Like you said with Logano, like, he wasn't one of those guys that you're like, oh, Joey's gonna win this race. But now that he does, like, now that he has won it, now that monkey's off their back, do you think this is going to turn Joey's season around to where he doesn't feel that pressure, and we'll see the 22 slip into their role as being top driver again? And
Well, I don't know, right? Because Fords have sucked all year, and there's no chance of them getting better and all that. So I mean, like, I still think
like so you still think Ford is the best? Like, if you had to
I'm
rank
not
the,
saying
if
no,
you,
no, no. I never said they were the
let's
best.
do it right now. Let's
I
do
said
it
they
right
were
now.
getting
Rank
better.
them 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rank them.
Honestly, I think it's a toss-up right now. I don't think you can
Yeah.
rank them like that.
I think you can
think
put
it all
Chevy
could
in
be
3,
one.
but other than that,
You think Chevy in 3?
they're not looking good right now, man.
Like,
Look
I
how
don't know.
garbage
Like,
they were yesterday.
I wouldn't say they were garbage. Like, Larson was racing for the win for most of it.
As
So was
Chastain.
Chastain.
I would say
Like,
Larson was racing for 3rd.
Yeah, he didn't
Chastain
have the
got up
best
there on
car.
And he
pit
was
strategy.
racing for the win in his Toyota. Christopher Bell was looking down in his Toyota.
Oh, yeah,
and,
Toyota was fastest yesterday.
Joey
by
pulls
far.
out the miracle of fuel and wins the race. But yeah, Ford, man, it's all for like,
I mean, they won the race.
yeah, but like they're not.
Penske's got all their
dominating,
drivers in the
they're not-
playoffs now. I'm just saying you had them wiped off the chart from the first this year. I said they were getting better, and they have. So
They've
that was
gotten
my only
luckier.
argument.
That's my argument.
Luck's part
Like
of it.
unless you bring that same luck, yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, Truex has been
Look at
very good,
Truex.
but it's horrible luck.
terrible luck. Just the wrong
Yeah,
time.
so I
Thank
mean,
I
you.
don't-
That luck transfers to Briscoe next year.
I just don't know how you put Chevy at 3rd right now. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really see a difference between any car. Like, they're
okay.
Toyota was the best yesterday, but like
I
It's
strongly
toss-up
believe
week to week.
Chevy's not looking good right now.
I think Toyota's the
I don't know,
best in the
man.
field,
Well,
consistently.
Right now, I do think they are.
Yeah.
Unless you're Legacy.
Yeah, man, what a dumpster fire that is. I was really hopeful for those guys, but like they're
Nope.
no different than when they're at Chevy,
No.
which sucks
Probably
because
worse,
like
actually.
Sean Hunter's, and decent equipment. I know it's a series down, but like John Hunter winning that race Saturday and then look at him Sunday. It's just like, like some of that's got to be on equipment. You know what I mean?
But yeah, definitely.
Like, so.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
even you look at, like, I realize Gregson hasn't won this year, but you look at the difference in performance between those two organizations, between like what he ran last year and what he ran here. And I mean, he only had half a season at Legacy before he left. Like, what a pile of junk they must be bringing to the track.
Right.
And they've got the same
That's
parts
what I
as
was-
everybody else. Like, what is so wrong?
I really thought John Hunter was going to be in the 19. I'm kind of gutted. Like that, I just feel like he might have been better off staying down in the 20 in Xfinity for a year and getting that call out, because I think that's what's hurt him is his results in the 42. But I mean, I don't think anybody's going to drive that car anywhere.
I will say I don't think John Hunter's stock is like as high as you think it is.
No, and I mean but I mean he's been, you have him in Toyota, you want him in Toyota, and then you just give it to Briscoe, who like I'm still shocked Ford's letting walk, but it's just like you've already had like the smallest teams, as Toyota, and your big thing's been developing drivers and then letting them walk away, and then you're going to start taking guys from Ford now and forget about your guys. Like it's going to be hard to build talent in Toyota if they keep up with this, because I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't see their end game. I don't know what they're looking to do, but
yeah. As far as Ford, I don't really know that Ford has much of an option. Like as it stands right now, it looks like they're going to be smaller next year, not bigger.
Yeah,
right.
But like if you're going to keep one guy in Ford, like Briscoe's been their guy. Like he's been Ford Performance sponsored. Like that's been like, and and rightfully so. Like the kid's talented. Like I think he's going to do great at Joe Gibbs, but like put him in the 21. Like find a seat for him. Like,
yeah. But I will say I think TRD spends more money than Ford as far as like keeping talent. Like I don't think Ford's willing to really pony up. You think about it, they had the chance to get Larson. Don't get me wrong. I understand Larson had issues at that time as far as like sponsorship and his image in the sport and things like that. But I mean, like you missed out on probably one of the greatest talents that NASCAR has seen in the last decade. Not probably. He probably is the greatest talent that NASCAR has seen in the last decade, as far as like.
Not probably. He probably is.
Sorry, I meant like not one of. He probably
He is,
is
yeah.
the, like I don't think there's a whole lot of debate about that of anyone else who came in around the same time that's nearly as good, right?
Yeah.
And Ford missed out on that. There's some other guys there too, I'm sure, that I'm not thinking of, but he's the glaring example. Tony Stewart was ready to put him in his car back when they were winning.
Mhm.
Yep.
You
Tell
think
what,
about it, how
though,
different does that organization look if you've got Kyle Larson over there and he still kept Harvick around for a couple of years instead of putting new guys with no real experience in them? Might be a completely different story.
Who's not to say though Almirola wouldn't just beat him up and ruined his career? You don't know.
Maybe.
Just
I
saying.
think Ford needs to hang on to Barry though. Like he's looking
good.
for a ride. Like he's
Yep.
he has stepped it up.
I think we all agree though Priest is kind of whatever, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
can let that guy go. And Harrison.
Yeah.
I'm still
That's
actually
it.
kind of
Barry's
amazed.
not in the 21, but like Barry, like this is what I don't get. Is
But
like
they also let McDowell go too this year, which, like, say what you want about
Yeah,
McDowell,
but-
he's consistent. He's solid.
yeah, but I mean he's not the guy you've backed and put everything into. And neither is
Also
Barry.
older.
Barry was driving Chevys before he comes to Stewart Haas for one season, and now it's looking like we might give him the Wood brothers. Like, I'm just like, you've put everything on Briscoe being the face of like Ford coming up, and then it's just you let him walk to Gibbs. Like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm
But
just
to be
like,
fair-
what's that saying about Ford as a manufacturer in the sport right now? Like, do they care?
But I mean, maybe it wasn't Ford either, right? Like, I'm sure if Briscoe wanted to stay at Ford, they would have found a seat for him. But what's interesting to you right now? Are you telling me you're going to opt for Wood Brothers, even for more money? Are you going to go Wood Brothers over Joe Gibbs?
There's no way.
Oh no, I wouldn't do anything over Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, so I mean,
Well, that's
I
true
would
too.
take a Hendrick
Ford
car
probably
over
didn't
Gibbs.
have a.
But like, if you were someone sensible, even, would you take them over Joe Gibbs? Of course not. Right?
No,
like,
but
there's not an organization in that garage that I would pick.
okay, but if
over
we're
Joe
talking
Gibbs or
money,
Hendrick.
like if I'm like $3 million a year at Joe Gibbs, or you're gonna pay me $8 million a year to go to Wood Brothers and drive with Penske, like yeah, I'll go give her a go. I'll stick with Ford.
Yeah, but I don't think
Like-
there's going to be that much of a discrepancy between the two.
Right,
would
but
have
what
to-
I'm saying is like Ford should have ponied up. Like
Yeah, maybe.
if you're losing manufacturers and cars, like try and keep your A talent there.
Fair enough, but I also don't think you invest money in drivers if you don't have a car for them, right? And I think right
But I'm
now
saying you
they're
do. Like if you're thinking like, no, let's keep Harrison Burton. Maybe he'll be the next face. Like
no. I know. You're saying they have a seat, which they do, but I mean,
But it's not a very good one.
yeah, like I'm saying they need to develop a car that's a little
what do you
better.
mean it's
Like,
not a good one? You were just saying Ford's taking over, Corey.
Everyone but Harrison Burton.
I will say, like, I don't think the Wood Brothers Ford is as good as Penske. I don't care if they prepared or not. It's not as good of an option. They don't have as good of a pit crew. They don't have as good of engineering. Like, none of
That's
that
all
is as
stuff
good.
you can bring over from Haas. Like that's stuff that like you can work with Ford, and Ford gives more funding. And
I know
like,
what you're saying. I don't
I-
think
like
it
if
would
Bert-
appeal to me as much. It would take one heck of a substantial increase in pay.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're still beating a dead horse, so
Yeah, well,
All right, get us.
there
out
is
of here.
there is no caution break this week, by the way.
oh wow.
So
I know.
just 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Well, 3, I guess, because you didn't even put up a podcast last week for the fans.
Yes, we did. It was just abbreviated. I did it all by myself, actually. Thank you.
Did you really?
Did great, bud.
Yeah.
I watched it. You kind of tried to downplay our picks a little bit, but other than that,
I don't understand what you mean.
weren't you talking about you doing the podcast by yourself, or was I off in my own little world there?
Yeah, but what do you mean I downplayed our picks?
You just like, oh well, they picked Larson and Byron, but I think Ross Chastain's gonna beat them, and all. I don't know.
Oh, I downplayed your picks. I get
Yeah,
you. I thought you
yeah.
meant like I downplayed the fact that we picked, and I'm like, I don't think I did.
No.
Well, of course I was going to talk smack.
Still want to talk
How'd
some
that work
smack
out?
or what?
I mean, it didn't work out for me, but it almost did. So
No, well, almost did. All
Almost
right.
as good in
Well,
horseshoes and hand grenades.
that's right.
yeah, well, you're still in second place with me, Donnie. So
Oh, you guys are in second place now. We should talk about that. Let's go to before the green and picks.
all right.
Yeah, so Donnie is not feeling like doing this week because he's so down on himself and his picks. So I guess it was given to me. I'm sure I won't do much better, but we are going to Chicago next week or this week coming to
Street
the street course. Not a whole lot of data on the street course, except that it's in Chicago and that Shane Van Gisbergen won it last year, which was, I don't think anybody really seen coming, but it happened.
It did.
And
his debut race in NASCAR.
In his debut race in NASCAR, he made them all look like fools, which I will stick to that. But anyways, last year was a lot of rain. Wasn't a great weekend. A lot of drama outside the track too, I guess. But hopefully this year we'll have a few more sunny skies, even though as the weeks are going, it seems to be a trend rain. So, but either way, that's where we're going. I don't know. You guys got anything to add to it? It's a street course. Like, I don't know what else. It's bumpy, I hear.
Yeah.
Guys,
like
it's not much.
Rain doesn't matter. We got wet tires for it. So
we do.
We are racing regardless.
I mean, I assume we have race wet tires, do we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, too, like, this would be a great week for you to have your first road course experience on iRacing, you know?
Probably would. I have not played iRacing like 2 or 3 weeks. Probably not a great time, to be honest, but I'll be away, so it won't happen. But
no, I've got nothing to add other than I'm actually quite excited.
Should be exciting.
It was a good race last year. I'm hoping for the same.
Yeah. I'm just hoping the city wants them there a little bit more this year, let's say. I just know last year, because this could be the last year. Like, I think they signed for 2 years, right?
2 years, yeah. It was. I think Chicago has the option for the third.
I think so, yeah.
Like, I think they both have an option for the third, but like I don't think it sounds very positive for Chicago.
So it could be the second and last race at Chicago, but hopefully not. All right. So do we want to talk about picks?
Not really.
No,
not really.
Well, that's too bad. We're going to anyways. So do we want to know averages or anything, how things are going, or we're all no?
It's your segment. Why do you keep looking at me, man? Like, come on. My word. At least I do my own segment when I come on. Like, I didn't realize I had to do one for you, and then
making
Evan's
sure
not
you're
even doing
okay.
one,
All right, I'm just making sure you're good. I mean, in first place for a while. We're not sure if that holds up, but all right. So at Nashville, Evan Locke looking really good. He had the race in his back pocket for a while there. He picked Ross Chastain, who was battling for the lead, but somehow ended up 33rd for the day. So
yeah, because of your guy.
No, hey, you know what? Kyle Larson and I had a talk. We were like, we got to get this point. So, all right, Donnie, William Byron looked great throughout the day. Was running top 10. He was running top 10 early in the race. Like,
he qualified there. And
Exactly.
Then he faded and faded.
Well, he got loose there for a little bit. Anyways, that was the last we've seen of William Byron. Not really sure what happened to him, but
to be fair, with a car that ugly, I'd try to hide in the back too.
It was an ugly car, but anyways, William Byron finished kind of like an Alex Bowman type of spot, 19th. So, respectable. And then I picked, there was really never any doubt this the whole day of who was going to win this.
I somehow think that this is a worse option than Donnie.
I picked Kyle Larson. And it did look a little rough there.
Just one sec.
You guys mind? This is my segment.
One sec. Evan.
Yeah.
Have you picked Kyle Larson yet?
I did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
How many points did he get?
I got 2. How many did you get?
2?
You know what?
I got 2.
You got 2 as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congrats.
You only got 1 with Kyle Larson?
You know what? I only needed the 1.
Whoa.
Korey hasn't picked a winner yet this year.
It's all
right.
Good. Yeah.
Anyways, Kyle Larson came, saw, conquered, finished 8th, which gives me the 9th point this season. And you guys both have 8, so that means I'm now
8.
I am
We're
now in
number
first
8.
place for the first time of the year. Took
No.
it at a
That's not true.
what?
Second time.
Okay, my bad. At the very first race of the year, the Clash, I had 1 measly point.
Yep.
Which
Did you
I
not do
guess
math
only
in
counts for
homeschooling?
half.
All right.
All right, so yeah,
do it.
I got 9 points. Donnie and Evan both tied for 8th. And just fun facts, looking at averages, just because I had a little bit of free time in my hand. Coming in third with the top average pick is Donnie with a 15.2 finishing spot. Evan comes in second with a respectable 14.9. They're very close. But then there's Korey. Comes in with a blazing 10.9 pick average. So I am almost breaking the top 10 week for week. Just, throwing that in.
10.9, and it took you this long to get the lead back.
I mean, hey,
It's only been 20
Created a
episodes
monster.
between leads.
turtle in the hair, man.
The what now?
All right. The turtle in the hair.
Could have swore you said hurdle.
No.
You heard it too, right, Donnie?
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
guessing Evan's
All right.
not the hair.
Well, I don't know if he's an elephant. I think he's more of an elephant than a turtle, too. So I don't know.
Hey,
Sorry, that was too far. I'm sorry. You
It
can punch
was.
me now.
I'm going to punch you in the face this weekend.
All right, that's enough of that. I'll probably
Yeah.
lose it next week. So anyway, so all right.
Here's hoping.
So that means I get first pick, Donnie has second pick, and Evan has third. And for me, I am going with the winner of last year, Shane Van Gisbergen.
I already had it typed in here. I knew that was happening.
I mean, what else do you do? No data. No one really knows what happens there. So
I mean, I
We'll
wouldn't be
see.
taking a guy in a I wouldn't be taking a guy in a colleague car, but anyway.
no, but
Donnie,
Well,
who
like
you
you
got?
said, I mean, it's his first time ever getting in the car and he takes it to victory lane. It's kind
How
of
do you
you're
not
an
pick
idiot
the
if you
guy?
don't pick him. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, we've talked about this guy before on the podcast. He's having a breakout season, really, in underfunded equipment. Justin Haley has looked great week in and week out. Evan's already picked him. Corey's already picked him. And I'm not going to pick him. I'm going with Michael McDowell, 34.
Oh,
Let's go.
wow. Didn't see that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Good pick, though. He needs a win
Yeah.
desperately. Very good.
All
pick.
right. Well, I'm going to throw the reigning road course champ.
Oh, hold on. Is this the
Not
guy
a
you
fit.
said his whole program was lacking this year?
Yeah, and evidence has
Okay,
changed.
cool. No, I just checking.
I said it
Sorry.
was lacking in the next gen era, and they've gone back to back this year, including when he won earlier in the year at Sonoma.
You're taking Kyle Larson?
Sorry.
You already took Kyle
Right?
Larson.
My
That's
bad.
it. Oh,
So
no,
he said Larson,
yeah.
and
I
you
never
have
said
forfeited
Larson.
your pick this week.
I
You
never
said
said
he
Winner
Larson.
Sonoma.
You said
I
he
said
won
a
Sonoma.
statistic, and I never put a name to it.
Okay, sure.
I'm taking Chase
sure.
Elliott. That's who I'm taking. All right, we're going Chase.
I don't
Elliott.
know. We're gonna need a ruling in that. Donnie, what's
Yeah.
your vote?
I never said a name.
I say he forfeit his pick.
Me
Okay.
too. So
You said you were.
Well,
you
no,
said-
to be fair, he said winner of Sonoma. So we'll check to see who won Sonoma.
oh yeah,
We'll make
have to
that
do
his
Then we'll
pick.
make the decision.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about a guy that had a breakout year, and I don't think Michael McDowell's had his breakout year yet. So I think I would save.
Yes.
I think I would
He's
save my.
broken out of front row and he's off to Chevy next year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he finished better than Elliott at Sonoma. So
Yeah,
Anyway, Chase Elliott's who I got.
perfect.
right on. Well, I hope this part-time driver can win me
Man,
another point.
Don't get me wrong, he's good, and he might do it again. But
Man, it's got to be the right, the right
I-
circumstances again.
yeah, I think these guys are going to be in a lot better position than they were last year, and I think he's going to be in a lot worse equipment.
Yeah.
I don't know about that much.
That's what I
worse.
worry about.
16 is still like
Still
AJ
what?
Allmendinger has still been competitive for a while at Sonoma. Anyways, I don't remember what happened, but he was in the top 10 for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel as good about it as I did last. Well,
No,
I guess
again,
I
I
don't
don't
feel
like.
good
Again,
last year,
it's just like, how do you not pick?
Here's
the guy,
my
right?
thing
So-
too. Like,
Yeah.
it was the story of NASCAR, this guy coming in. So like, I think he was probably given a little more room even by the drivers. Like, I
Probably.
don't think he gets as much leeway, especially seeing how talented he is at this kind of stuff. Like, I think guys are going to bump him a little harder, race him a little harder.
Yeah.
And yeah, like,
Yeah, not that they necessarily gave him room, but they didn't rough him up or anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Yep.
and like with Haley, like I looked into it, you know, like he finished
Yeah.
second last year. He's running great this year. He really is. I thought about taking him, but he didn't have stage points in the first or second. Like
I think he
McDowell
lucked
ran.
into that one. Yeah.
Yeah, McDowell ran fifth both stages and finished sixth or seventh. Like he's desperate for a win. He's great on the road. That's why I want that.
Yeah. No, it's a good
But-
pick.
Honestly, 3 picks that could be either guys.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting week. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm going to get to watch it on time. Might be starting on a little bit of a delay, but I'm looking forward to it. And hey, you never know.
Yes,
Colton might be
sir.
watching with me this week.
No, he's not allowed in the RV.
No,
That's
no.
right.
Time
We'll
with
be
your
home.
parents.
We'll be home. Yeah, but-
Alrighty, boys. Let's wrap her up for another week.
all right, brother.
Off to Chicago should be good. Follow us on our social media. Enter the contest we got going, $200 American for merch and your favorite driver. All the info available on our website. If you're having trouble with that, just reach out on our socials, message one of us. We'll get back to you. Until next week, we'll see you after Chicago, where I take my points lead
No. I'm gonna extend my lead
and my segment.
and your segment. Yeah, you can have it.
All right, guys.
Maybe Evan will do something.
Hey,